Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Neil and I've got my friend Floyd here from the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp. We're going to talk a little bit today about what goes on at the camps. Just so you know, you hear me talk about it all the time. You hear John talk about it, Steph, and everybody talks about it. We talk about the Ask National Conference and all of that. But what's actually going on at the camp? We're going to chat through that and maybe bring you up to speed.
Download the ASP Unlimited app for all the content you love from active self-protection and more with no interference from YouTube. No ads, no age gates, exclusive videos, seminars, classes, and more on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Android TV. Hit the link in the description or download ASP Unlimited from your app store today.
So Floyd, if you guys don't know Floyd or from the camp, you should. You're missing out. This is one of my favorite humans. But Floyd, where are you from?
I am from Northwest Arkansas.
Oh,
where we are
right now. Yep, teaching a class. And so, what got you up to Kansas? So how far is it from your house to the camp?
Well, it's 381 miles from my house
to the camp.
North.
Yep,
and 380 miles from your house south.
So one of us is like a mile closer, right?
That's why, and I forget which one's a mile.
Yeah.
But
I always tell people you're closer, so you do the work.
There you go.
So he lives like literally. We live the almost exact to the mile. I think it's 1 mile difference, right?
It is
to the camp. So I live way north. He lives way south. The camp is right in the middle. But what brought you to the camp?
In 2018, I attended a church security training by the Active Self-Protection.
By some geniuses.
I know.
Yep.
And just one of those random things. I was assigned in their infinite wisdom to set up a security program at our church.
Yep.
And I had to travel 7 hours to find someone to give me some good training. And cool. I attended that, fell in love with the place. And actually, I got some good training while I was there, but then figured out what the mission was, the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp, and what they did. Fell in love with the location, fell in love with the mission, and that was in October of 18. By January of 19, I've done more research and applied all the fantastic training that I got and thought, I probably need a piece of this. Well, that was quite a few years ago, and I've been going back about a week, a month for the last 6 or 7 or 8 years, however long that's been. So.
Yeah, and so believe it or not, Floyd, at that was, it wasn't one of our, it was probably within the first 2 years of us starting to do church safety classes. Our church safety class is, a few hours in a classroom and then a few hours on the range. It's kind of a one-day deal that we typically use as an augmentation of our classes. We're actually doing that class here again. We're calling it the ASP Skills Summit, and then we're adding church safety onto that here in a couple of months. But in that class, I was in my marketing prowess. I asked a bunch of students to stand in and tell us what they thought of the class. Do you know I still have the video of you? That was the first time we met. You're like, I'm Floyd Orr from Northwest Arkansas, and I love this class. And so I just saw that the other day. I'm going to send that to you.
Destroy it, please.
But so, so at the same time, that was our first time at the camp as well. That was our first time, and we fell in love with the mission and the facilities. And just the what is going on and what they're doing for these kids really draws to us, because they're helping foster kids that are in the system and that are aging out of the system, and that is where their heart is. And if you guys know me, you know that I've got a special needs son that came to us through foster care. John and Laura have some experience in that system as well, and just about all of the ASP staff has some, there's at least some threads into that world, and so man, that draws really close to our heart and our mission as well. And as soon as we found out we can support this, we decided to, and so that's why we decided to do the ASP National Conference there. 100% of the money goes to the camp. We don't take a dime. It costs us money to put this thing on. Everybody's writing a check to go there. We're writing a check to go there just like everybody else. Plus I pull strings with my friends that are in the industry, and I'm like, hey, you want to come teach us this thing? And they're like, yeah, that'd be awesome. What does it pay? Nothing. You're going to get your heart filled up, and you're going to get to learn what's going on there. Just about to a person, everybody that I've asked has come and done it. And the ones that haven't are like, I would love to do it, but the schedule doesn't work. So at some point, there's people that have it on their to-do list to come teach at our conference. It's just that the schedule hasn't worked out. So national level guys and gals that teach at super high levels come teach that thing. But that's not what this video is about. I want you to come to the conference. There'll be a link to it. Go to the website and all that. But let's talk about the camps. Yeah. So we've got other events. There's and I've started volunteering there too. So when I say this, I'm talking about we do this. Mm-hmm. There's a local board and a whole bunch of people that help out locally, and then Floyd and I drive in from time to time and do what we can to help as best we can. Yeah. There's a thing called the Evening of Hope that's coming right up, and I'm hoping we get this video out beforehand because it's an auction fundraiser where a bunch of stuff is donated locally and nationally, and people show up and they make their donations and they buy things basically, right?
There's an online auction as well as a live auction.
Yeah, and so the live auction is for the folks to show up, but there's also online things. Over the last couple of years, they've done online. I went to it once. Cody and I drove down to it once and had to drive in a blizzard. Remember that one? What was that? 2019, I think. We went down to it just to support and hang out, and it's a cool event, and it's really to support the camp. But now we've got an online as well, so you can go online. So hit the link in the description if you want to get some data on that. You can go online, you can bid on these things, and I don't know how shipping and all of that stuff works. Figure that out on the website, but that's an option, right?
Well, we've got some really sharp people managing the Evening of Hope.
Yep.
And it's a button on the webpage, FHFTC, Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp.org, and at the very top of that page is Evening of Hope. Click on that, and you'll contact people way smarter than me, and probably smarter than Neil.
Absolutely smart.
Because
I know who they are, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Handling all those details.
Yeah, so they're going to take care of that. But if you are so inclined, at least go check it out. See if there's something that you might want to bid on, and understand that every cent goes to help these kids. Yeah. Then the next thing that's going on, we've got a turkey shoot fundraiser thing that's going on. That's kind of it's going to be like a small competition kind of deal, maybe a 3-gun. Details are still being worked out, but that's going to happen yet this spring. There'll be information on the website about that if you are local or you feel like flying in. The cool thing is, because it's a camp, there are cabins all over the place, there are dorms all over the place, and so lodging is available. Now you gotta pay for that, but you can go to town and you can pay $150 a night for a hotel, or you can go pay $150 a night for an Airbnb, or you can go pay probably less to stay in one of the cabins at the camp, and then that money goes to support the camp as well. Yep. So you could fly in for the turkey shoot thing if you wanted. When the details are out, it'll be a whole lot easier to know. But then what kicks off in June and July are the actual camps. And so I have been there for these camps. You've been there for way more than I have, but I've got to be there for a few of them. Last year I volunteered at just about all of the camps. And I've been raising money for this camp and working, to try to help with the mission as it was shared with me. And I gotta tell you folks, it was completely undersold. What goes on there for these kids it's life-changing stuff. And so let me just walk you through really quickly what a camp looks like. So on Thursday night, all of the volunteers show up, and we get an idea of who the campers are. We get, kind of just a little bio on each kid, a picture of them, so we kind of know, we understand that, there may be some meds, there may be some, they're scared of the dark, they can't swim, those kind of things, those kind of details that come in, so we can deal with that and make sure that they have a good and safe and fun weekend. But then on Friday morning, bright and early, everybody gets up, we drive to town, and we meet at a church, and the kids are dropped off by their foster parents or their adoptive parents or whatever whoever it is that is currently in charge of them. They're dropped off, and some of these kids are they're up at 2, 3 in the morning traveling across the state of Kansas, and they get dropped off at this church. We kind of process them through and get them signed in, and meds get turned in here and cell phones get turned in there. They get a t-shirt for the camp over here, and let's get some breakfast and hang out and start getting to know them. And then we jump on a bus and we drive out to camp, where they get to meet their coaches. And that's there's a one-on-one coach with every child, every camper. So every camper has adult supervision the entire time. They have this 2 deep rule, so that we're very careful that the coaches all pass background checks and all of that kind of stuff. They go through some significant training, and the first day is a little awkward because these kids don't know us and we don't know them, and they don't trust us, because just about every adult in their life has let them down. They've been let down by their parents in a lot of cases. They've been let down by their extended family. They've been let down by their churches. They've been let down by their schools and their friends. They haven't made great decisions, and I can't blame them based on the trauma that they deal with.
And honestly, they've been let down by the foster care system.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yep.
I don't mean that in a bad way. The mission of the camp, the last statistic that I saw was 5,200 kids in the foster system in Kansas.
Oof. Just the state of Kansas.
Just the state of Kansas. This camp, we all know about the kids, the babies, from birth to 11 or 12 years old, and those are taken care of quite well. But then as they age, as they get into being teenagers, that's when we drop the ball. That's when they are in a development stage.
They're not the cute little toddler anymore. They're not exactly a little baby. They've got some trauma that they're dealing with, and in a lot of cases poorly, and the adults don't help. And so these are teenagers typically that we're dealing with.
And quite honestly, with 5,200 kids in the state of Kansas, we've got to carve out a piece of that, or it's just a random selection. So we have carved out the teens, 12 to 15, 2 camps, 12 to 15 boys, 12 to 15 girls. And then we also have a co-ed, 16 to 18 for those that are aging out. And the closer they get to aging out, the more difficult it is, the more likely they're going to get lost in the system, the more likely they're going to be homeless. And all of the issues that go along with homelessness and lack of training and lack of just basic skills. Because we go there, we know some of the stats, and I don't want to share the stats. Just know they're depressing. Just know that I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. It is heartbreaking what these kids are dealing with, and what they're facing, and they don't have to lose. The problem is, in a lot of cases, nobody's helping them win, and all we can do is help what we can help, right? But then, so as the camp goes on, it's typically a 3 or a 4 day camp. We kind of process through some of the hurts and some of the pains. We go to the challenge course where we have some physical challenges that they do, and it's nothing big, balance beams and truss falls and all of that kind of stuff that you probably have done as well. However, it's got its own flavor and its own style that I won't share. If you want to learn about what that is, come to the conference, because I do a class at the conference. It's called the Camp Experience, and I'll take you down on that thing, and I'll walk you through what we do. I'll show you what the kids deal with, and you as a mature adult will cry before you're done. You will see where the triumph happens, because there's all this trauma in these kids' life, and you'll see the triumph. These kids wake up every morning. And they triumph every single morning in the face of the trauma that they're dealing with. And so, after it amazed me that after a day
the trust started to build. They want to trust somebody, and they found somebody that they'll open up just that much to, and then you hear the stories, and then they start sharing with you what they've gone through. Yep. And it's a lot, man, it's a lot. And I asked, I get emotional, and I'm not an emotional guy, but I asked Floyd one time, you've been doing this a lot longer, and I'm like, at what point do we stop getting emotional? And he's like, well, I'll let you know when I get there.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, so guys, I just want to take a minute, because I mean, I love this man. This guy's heart for these kids it's evident, and I hope that at some point people say that about me, that they're like, his heart was for those kids. I like to shoot, I like to do my stuff, but I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for my family and what I did for the community, and you will be. That's the thing. That's what I know of Floyd Orr, and I wanted you to meet him. If you come to our conference, you'll get to meet him. If you volunteer for the camps, you'll get to meet him. You'll get to do all the other stuff, and you'll get to feel the experience. But helping these kids is really the mission, and they need your help. So if you can hit the website down below and look at the stuff for the Night of Hope, go to our conference, because all of that money goes to the camp. Volunteer. You know what? For the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can set up and you can send some money to the camp. That's the big thing. Yeah. It's financially, it's expensive to maintain this facility. If you've been to it, you know how big this facility is and what it takes, and everything's on a shoestring budget just because of where we are. And so, again, I just wanted to introduce you to Floyd, because this is one of my heroes, and this is somebody that I want to be like. I want you guys to maybe have the opportunity to meet Floyd, but I really want you to have the opportunity to help these kids. And Floyd, you would forego any accolades from anybody watching if they help these kids, wouldn't you? Because that's who you are. And so thanks for watching. This isn't us standing on the range shooting a bunch of stuff and teaching you anything along those lines. But you know what, we have a pretty decent sized platform, and I want people to know that we're not just about shooting. We're not just about the training side of this thing. We have families, we have passions, and we really want to help here. And this is where mine is, and this is where John's is, and this is where Steph's is, and Natalie and Chris Bean and Carrie Dudenhofer and all of the ASP people that, I could keep going on, but I'll forget somebody, so I'll just stop there. Join us and help these kids. Thanks.